welcome back to our podcast.
Our driving podcast with the
podcast.
ASMR drive behind us.
Yes, I'm sorry for the road noise. We are on season 3, episode 9.
Oh my God, we're slowly catching up. If we bust out a few more podcasts, we could have
do 3
one
more
a month.
before the
I
end of
know.
So today we are going to talk about
The first time we played at a club with people that we didn't really know.
Yep.
Fucking strangers.
Fucking strangers.
Thank you for checking out the Impulsive Duo podcast. Remember, our content is for 18 and over. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button.
Finally. After several years in lifestyle. So, I mean, you hear a lot about people going to clubs and meeting up with people, and it just has never really happened for Eric and I. I think we tend to like to get to know people, you know, nerves and stuff, especially the beginning lifestyle, journey. There obviously isn't a bunch of clubs around us. It's not like we were going to a ton of clubs. And then when we started going to more and more clubs, a lot of it was for work.
Yeah.
You know, we were doing unicorn landing events at Bravado. We were going, to Sapphire. We were going down to Vegas. So we were always hosting.
Yes.
And when you're hosting an event, you don't want to kind of single your attention in on anybody. Because
you don't want to be that person type deal, you know? People came to our event and we wanted to be available to everyone.
Yeah, and we don't, and so when you're kind of trying to get to know somebody, on a, play level, you spend a lot, some time throughout the night getting to know them a little bit. But yeah, when you're working, and then we're exhausted, we get there early, we, and then we have to clean up. Like, we've been at clubs where we're cleaning up at 1 a.m. and everyone's off hooking up and having sex while we're literally excuse me, let me get these balloons.
Yeah,
Let me pick up my swag off the table.
The last event we were at before this was the Unicorn Landing birthday party event, and
I'm sitting there popping balloons while people around me are fucking, and I'm like, this sucks.
why do we do this?
No, dude, next time I'm paying people if it's a party that I have to decorate for, already I'm fucking paying somebody. I don't even care. I'm not cleaning up. I was like, I'm gonna get to the point where I'm having somebody clean up and set up.
Yeah.
I'll pay them physically I was like, it's just too exhausting.
Yeah.
You get there early, you gotta set up, put out all your swag, and then you spend the whole night mingling, which you do it anyways, but when you're having to talk to that many people and mingle and
and people have traveled to see you or whatever, and it was like, okay, well, you want to give them some of your time, and
exactly. If people travel to see you or to meet you, you want
it to be a good experience for them. It's almost like you want them to have a better experience than you have.
Oh, 100%. I want them I'm just so grateful that they're there.
Yep.
I want to show them around. I want them to have a good time. 100%. So we just don't really, and there's been times where we've met people and it's kind of gotten close, maybe we could have, and then find out later. That's the other part, is we are a little bit because of what we do, I don't ever want to be hey, you guys want to play? They think we're just oh, who do they think they are? They could just play with people. Or we've had so many people tell us, oh, we just figured you guys have tons of people to play with. We didn't even bother asking you. And there's been times I've left clubs kind of sad. I'm like, nobody wanted to play with me.
Yeah. No, we've talked about that too. And we go, or people meet us and they're like, oh my God, I watch you on social media or whatever, or listen to this, and you're like, oh, cool. But do you want to play?
No, we've had so many people tell us that we're unapproachable in that sense. We're approachable because we're really, we try to be kind and we're chatty. We try not to come across as but unapproachable is oh, we just assume you guys have tons of people to play with. We would never think you would play with us. And we're just nope, we went back to our hotel room alone. And, or Eric and I have played together at clubs. We'll be by midnight, everybody's kind of paired off. People are drinking, whatever. And Eric and I will be hey, well, you want to go play?
Yeah.
And he and I will just go play and either people will be around and either watch or I'm just not very assertive. I mean, we've talked about this so much on a different podcast that it's kind of taken me a little while to be a little bit more assertive. So we've decided we also want to go to events and not host. We don't always have to be, and almost don't tell people we're going. So we decided to go to our local event center, which I also said I would never play there because I know so many people in the community.
Right.
And I used to, before, a lot of my employees were in the lifestyle. And I was just like, if you see me at the club, you didn't see me, or not the club, the Lifestyle Event Center, like at the warehouse. I'm like, you see me there, you didn't see me there, like whatever I did, like I was just always kind of like, I kind of.
Well, you do want your employees to like look over, and there you are just getting railed out, or
and I also own a business that I try to like maintain a certain level of like professional, like classy level, and I was just like, with my app, even though it's a hookup app, whatever, but it just wasn't me, to get like having everybody watch me naked. And I'm also really big on like, I don't have nudity out there anywhere except for, on OnlyFans. Like my Twitter, like I'm very like, you
don't like to put it out there. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I just like to put myself all out there. So anyway, so I've always just been a little bit like more conservative. When we play, it's behind closed doors. It's, with people we've like hung out with several times, gotten to know. We either go to a hotel room or their house, or, a few times we've like had people at our house, stuff like that. So we decided to go to our Halloween party a few weeks ago.
Because we knew that if you do go to events, like the two best events, I think, no matter what club it is or event center, to go to is either New Year's or Halloween.
Oh, 100%. Holidays, because people like to dress up. They always want a reason to go party. It's not just like a normal Saturday. They're like, oh, it's Halloween, let's go to a party. So a lot more people plan to say with New Year's. And we like to dress up and whatever. So and we happened to be in town, and it all just worked out. So I said, let's, so we decided to go to the Halloween party. So we went, we dressed up, we got all cute, and we had no intention to play. We even made a TikTok before we went out. And we were like, we have no expectations. So Eric in the TikTok was like, what do you expect tonight? And I was like, well, I have no intentions to play. And this is what I take with me. You take protection, just in case. And, all of that. But you don't, and I had no...
We had no, because we've been there a handful of times.
And we had some friends that were going, but some friends we'd played with before, and I wasn't really expecting to play with them there.
Right.
I didn't know, how that would go. And then we had some other friends coming, and so we just were like, no, we're just going to be like fun to meet.
Yeah, it was fun to hang out, fun to get out, fun to dress up a little bit.
Yeah, so we go and we see our friends like after a little bit, and it was fine. We chatted with them for a few, but they were also with kind of another couple that they like hang out with.
Yep.
And we were like, no big deal. Like that's the other thing is you can't. It is hard because we're all human, and so it's like you play with people, but then you see them off there like either playing or flirting with other people, and you're like, okay, are they into them more than me? And you try not to be like, you know what I mean? You're just kind of like, you're still human. Like it's a human reaction. You're just like, okay. Well,
why don't you want to fuck me?
Yeah, you're like,
right
good to see you guys.
Yeah.
And it was fine. We chat with them, and it's not like hard feelings. You have
it's not.
You have to really, really. There's a cop. You have to really, really like have a thick skin. Like you cannot get your feelings hurt if people you have played with are like playing with other people or not spending much time with you. Of course, if you feel like you're getting blown off, whatever. Of course, your feelings hurt. But I knew that. We're still friends with these people. We've chatted.
Oh yeah, we've chatted with them even after, and we kind of knew that, and it was one of those things even too that I didn't really like. I would love to play with them again, but also
it wasn't like my goal for them. I was like, we had just played with them, and I also didn't want to just go there, and that's like I wanted to mingle with other people.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Well, it wasn't super crowded, but we got there a little earlier than we normally do, just because we were ready, and we just ended up going, and because we ate dinner at home, and we ended up going, and it was kind of like not super crowded yet, and like there's people. Eric and I were standing there, and like literally like 9:30, I was like, we could leave.
Yeah, no, and so we like kind of did another lap, and we went and sat in the barn.
Yeah, and I just felt super awkward. And
we had a couple stop us though and talk to us.
But yeah, and we knew some of our other friends were coming, and so I was like, we have to stay at least till they get here.
Right.
And so, because I don't think they got there till like 9:30 or so. But we had a couple stop us in the barn, and this really cute couple, and they're like, the guy was like, I listen to your podcast, blah blah blah. And so if you're listening, you know who you are. Yeah. So people. When you start getting those conversations, it's like, okay, now I'm having fun. Like I started having conversations with people were mingling, and I started feeling a little bit more comfortable and not just like awkward standing there with Eric. Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, I'm having fun. So we start chatting with them, and
it was just fun just to start talking to people.
Yeah. So we started,
and we both, I think, had fun because like we both were like looking at each other like, hey, let's like just hang out here and chat as long as we want to now. Because it was no longer like, hey, do you want to leave or any of that? Yeah, so we were chatting, and our friends showed up, and we chatted with them for a little bit. But then I don't even remember what time of the night it was. So we're standing in the kitchen. They're probably more right around like 10-ish.
Was it that late when we met them? I don't know. I thought it was a little earlier when we met. Whatever. I don't remember. But I had a couple drinks, but I don't really drink a ton anymore. So
I was even checking in with you in the bathroom, like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? You know, and
yeah.
You're like, I don't know.
So we were standing in the kitchen, and this couple walks like kind of by us. And I don't think they had just walked in, but I think they like kind of walked by us. And I like kind of look up and like make eye contact with her, and I said the things I would do to that girl. It was literally the first thing that came out of my mouth. Like I was just like totally my type. Like she was cute and like not ton of makeup, like not.
No, she had Chucks on.
She was wearing Chucks.
If you want to fuck my wife, wear Chucks. Black Chucks. I swear to God, if we go to a event now and everyone has black Chucks on, I'll be like, motherfuckers.
They don't have to be black. They can be any color.
Oh, they could be any color. Oh, we're not.
Anyways, this girl walks in, and she's just like, I like natural beauty. Like, I'm really attracted to women that are, like, not overly fake. I don't like big boobs. Like, just a nice body. I mean, come to find out, she was a little bit, like, in her 20s. Of course she had nice body. God, go to hell. But I was just like, that girl's cute. And just, like, not conventionally like super, you know what I mean? She was just cool. She looked right at me, and she like came over and she was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to meet you. And I was just like, oh God, don't. And I was like, damn it, just run this, because I hate it when I don't hate it. So if you approach me and you say like I love your stuff, I don't hate it.
No, because it makes you aware that people know how they know you at least now.
Yes, but it makes me awkward. Like I'm like, oh, I'm no different than anybody else. I just happen to be vocal on social media. I just happen to like have a platform, but I'm no different. I'm just as awkward, just as weird. Because I don't like it to people be like, oh my God, I know you. Oh my God, I'm fangirling. And I'm like, please don't say that. Because then I'm like, oh well, there goes my chances with you. Well, this girl was super chatty, and then her husband was with her, and he was cute. Like, he was super cute. Yeah. He was super quiet. Like, he barely talked.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
And I'm usually, like, the most quiet out of anybody, and he was, I'm sitting there talking. He was actually more quiet than I was. Mm-hmm. I was like...
Well, he wasn't quite, like, rude quiet.
No, not at all.
You could tell he was just very... He was an observer.
Uh-huh.
And he said that even. He was like, I just observe. She talks.
Yeah.
And he's dressed, and she was in, like, some cute little lingerie, and he was in just, like, a plaid and, like, cowboy boots, like, boot things, and, like, jeans, and I was just like, you're cute. But a little younger than us. Like, it was very obvious they were younger than us.
Yeah.
But super whatever. So we chatted for a while, and about the lifestyle, and she said that she actually found her first, that's when we started talking, she's found their first, like, friends and people that they hang out with and stuff on Unicorn Landing. So that was the first app that they like got on, and I was like, oh my God. Then it like made me all like warm and fuzzy inside. And
it was funny because we even took a break to go to the bathroom. I even asked you, I was like, do you want to play with them? Like, because I'm a lot more assertive, and you're like, no, don't. It's
no. I said there is no way they would play with us. Like I literally was like, no.
And I'm just like, yes, I would. But
and I was like, whatever. Well, then we were talking to another super hot couple, and I was like, that girl was so far out of my league. This girl was like a tiny little thing with like tiggle bitties,
and she wanted to play too.
Well, I didn't find that out till later. Can we finish the story?
Yes.
You're getting ahead of yourself. So I was like, but there was no way. Again, super cute, younger, and I was just like, whatever. So we just continued the night. Like, it was starting to get a little later, and just chatting, and you chat with people for a little bit, and then you walk away and talk to somebody else, and like how you just mingle. Well,
and it started getting kind of late, like to the point where we're starting to go, okay, now we're starting to get a little tired.
Yeah, we're like, okay, are we gonna like leave soon, whatever. Well, we're talking to that couple again, and I was like, yeah, I've never actually like played at an event. After we chatted several times, like on and off for like an hour or two with these people.
The Chuck couple.
Yeah, the Chuck couple. And we'd also chatted with the other couple quite a little while. And we're standing there, and I said something like, oh yeah, we've never really like played at the warehouse here. I was like, we've never really played with like,
we don't really play at clubs.
We don't really play at clubs. We don't like, it's just, and I was kind of explaining, I was like, we're always either working on them, or like we just get to know people, like we haven't. And the silent kid, I say kid, that sounds so horrible when I say that, the younger gentleman looks right at me, and he goes, well, do you want to? No, he goes, well, do you want to play at the warehouse? And I was like,
yeah.
I didn't say anything. I was like, kind of. Like, I didn't know what to do. I just like was on, and he just was like so like nonchalant, like serious, and he was like, who do you want to? And I was like, kind of. And I was like, okay, I gotta pee. Remember? I was like, I gotta pee. And
well, we said yes, and we went yes, and you were like, well, I have to pee. So then we went to the bathroom and...
So then we were like, okay, well, where are we going to? Because there's...
Not a lot of
There's
areas.
not a ton of, like, open areas to play at this club. There is a big, like, cuddle puddle thing, like, in the back of their, like, dungeon area. Barn/dungeon.
Barn/dungeon.
We're going to call it a dungeon because it sounds better than calling it a barn. That we fucked on the barn floor. And they have it all set up with, like, it's nice. And they have it all set up with, like, mattresses and every, you know, like, back there. It's for, like, group play, whatever. And then they have a room. But I think there were people in the room.
Yeah.
And so we were like...
There's people in, like, all the areas. And there's even one couple in that room, that big play area room.
Yeah. So we went back there and we were like, well, this is all open. And...
So we just kind of walk on in there and we're like, hey, let's play. And then all of a sudden it was kind of like, well, we never really talked about, like, what we're into as we're all taking off our clothes.
We're all starting taking our clothes. We're like, so,
how
boundaries.
do you guys play?
What are your boundaries? Like, what do you... Yeah, we're like, we'll probably have this conversation. And I know she's bi, like, very bi. And that's how they kind of got into it. She wanted to explore that, blah, 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 you know.
And I was just like, it was one of those things even too. I was like, well, no matter what they are, like, I knew she was bi.
Yeah.
And I was like, just to be able to play at a club for you, for me, like, just to say we did it, like, fuck, whatever.
Yeah. So they were, like, not super experienced with full swap. They had, like, done stuff before, and I think they had played with single people, but they hadn't, like, with a couple, right?
Yeah, they hadn't played with, like, a couple.
Yeah, but they played with, like, single men and single women before.
Yeah. But like, soft swap only type deal. Like, there was never penetration with another couple. Or another...
Was it?
No. That's why it was like...
Yeah, oh, that's right, because you kind of were like, oh.
Dude, it hit a different kink level, and that's why all of a sudden I was like, oh, fuck yes, I am, like, in.
Eric was like, what? No, but I think it was kind of like, okay, what are you guys open to?
Oh, yeah, at the beginning.
They wanted to. They just kind of, again, hadn't really had the opportunity where it was like...
And she even said, I have to feel really comfortable with the other guy. Like, I'm very hesitant with men. Like, with women, I'm very easygoing, but with men... And I'm like, don't totally respect that. And that's where we were, like, taking off our clothes, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, we're just going to kind of soft swap, and... We'll go at their pace because they're
100%.
less experienced than we are. So
yeah, we're like, we'll go at your pace, whatever. And so like the girls, you know, we started playing, and like of course it was hot because I'd been on this girl all night, and like she was very like assertive too, and like it was just hot. So obviously had a lot of fun with that.
Well, yeah, because the next thing I know, like you guys are like kissing, and it is kind of weird. Like when you start playing, like for women, I think it's a lot easier because you can like girls can just start making out and stuff. And as a guy, especially when I'm like, okay, so what exactly do you do to start off with? You know, so you're just kind of like rubbing your own partner's body and unbuckling like bras and stuff.
Yeah, no, the guys just kind of sit there and they're like, like they don't want to make eye contact with each other, so they're just like, what's up, dude?
Because it's not like you look at the guys and you're like, hey, what up, you know? And so I remember like she had like pushed you back, which actually kind of surprised me a little bit because you're usually the more dominant person.
Yeah, she was all about it.
And she like pushed you back and started going down on you, and I remember I was like, dude, okay, this is kind of hot. Like, I put my dick in your mouth, and I'm like looking around, and I see like all these like single dudes and
I know,
guys.
we're like a single dude audience.
I know.
I was like, where's the hot people to watch us?
But I'm like looking around, I'm like, hey, we got a little bit of a crowd. Like, this is fun, all right. And so that was fun, and it was like just kind of going at their pace.
Yeah, no, and then we just kind of like kept going, and like everyone was very respectful as far as like, and I think that's like, especially if you don't have a ton of like experience with or like have a ton of the conversations beforehand, it was like, you know, there was like, can I kiss you conversation, you know, like he asked me to kiss me, that she asked if she could kiss you, like before he touched like my boob, he was like, can I touch you? And I was like, yeah,
they got to that point, I think, because then you ended up going down on her for a little while, and then I remember going down on you, and I remember like looking over, he was touching her, and then at one point like he was on his back and she was giving him head, and I had you on your back and I was going down on you, and then I heard him up there go, can I touch you? And I was like, oh, he's so respectful, that's so cute. Like that's the only thing going through my head. I'm like trying not to like laugh and giggle, be like,
yeah, no, but it's so respect. That's the other thing is like when you're in the lifestyle and you don't, like I said, you don't have those conversations before. It's really good to ask before you do anything.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not. I didn't want to like, and then even like I reached over because she was doing something. I reached over and like touched him, but I didn't want to throw her off. I didn't want to throw him off and be like, there's a hand on my dick. You know what I mean? So I was like, because I was watching her give him head, and it was actually while you were going down on me, and it was like turning me on. And so I know,
I could taste it was turning me on.
So I was like, can I touch you, you know? And he was like, yeah, please. And so I did. And, you know, make sure, like, everybody was like, yeah. Like, so it's just, when you're having that open communication, it's really important. And you have to be mature enough. And it's awkward because you never played with these people before. But you still have to be, like, have those conversations.
Yeah, and
have those, like, ask before you touch.
Yeah, and I mean, I went into this thinking this was going to be, like, just soft swap and something like you guys would play, and that kind of be
Is that the place that has the goats? Yeah, it is. Sorry, side note. There's a gas station that has goats outside of it.
And so then finally, like, I remember, like, we just kind of ended up, like, swapping over, and
I think you started going down on her.
I asked her, I was like, because she kind of, like, looked at me, and she started touching me as I was going down on you. And I looked at her and I was like, would you like me to go down on you? And she was like, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I was going down on her, and it was funny just hearing all this, do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I do this?
And I think we all just kind of, like, finally, like, got over it. So, because we ended up full swapping. I don't even know how we got to that point.
Oh, no, because I remember we got to that point, like, you were over there making out with him, and I don't know what he was doing to your body because I was focusing on her.
Well, I said something about, Eric loves to go down on, because Eric loves to go down on people, like, and I was like, she tastes really good, Eric, and he's like, I love to do it. He's like, oh, I love to do it too. Can I? And he's like, can I? was like, absolutely. Not gonna say no.
And so then there we are, and it was funny because, like, I remember just, like, enjoying her body, and I could hear you over there moaning. And then I remember him saying something like, can I be inside you or something. I was like, dude, are we gonna all fuck? I was like, sweet. And we had that little bit of, like, a
quick conversation about like protection and test results. We're like, yep, we're good. And protection, and we were like, okay. And
I just remember, like, sliding inside her and just watching her face and being like, fuck, like, I wasn't planning on this. Now this is hot.
Yeah, it was.
Are you a female 18 and over interested in the lifestyle? Make sure you check out Unicorn Landing at unicornlanding.com or download the app in your favorite app store today.
Well, and, like, okay, and I truthfully don't have a thing for men that are, like, younger than me. Like, I like men with experience. I like daddies. I like that.
Yeah.
But this guy,
this kid,
this gentleman, this younger gentleman, was obviously had experience in it did low battery thing. Does that mean it's still going?
I think so.
This younger gentleman obviously had experience. I mean, he's married and he has a little kinky bi wife, so, you know.
Yeah.
He obviously knew what he was doing, and he had a very nice penis. What's the word I'm looking for?
Had a nice dick.
He had a nice dick, and I was like, hell yeah, like, I'm so down. And
no, I, like, looked over, and my favorite is when I watch your body, like, just get kind of jolted because I know you're just getting smashed out, and I look over and you're just fucking moaning, and you're just getting.
Because we had a couple experiences before that where it wasn't bad experiences, but it was kind of just like I didn't get off, and I didn't get, like.
You didn't get fucked.
Eric had, like, really good experiences with these, like, super hot wives, and I got to play with the wives. Well, I didn't have any experience. I had the couple experiences before where I was just like, meh, okay. Like, I wasn't getting. I didn't have experience. I don't know how to say it. Like, I looked over and I was like, I'd rather just be fucking my husband right now. Which, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, like, not. Uh-huh. And he knew that, and he knew that and he had, like, gotten these girls off and, like, made them squirt, and he's getting off, and I'm just like. Cool.
That's awesome. Good.
So I was fucking my turn.
Damn
Not that you were having fun with this hot girl also.
Oh, no, I was.
I know, but shit, it was my turn. Let me have my moment. So when he saw that I was having a good time and that this guy knew what he was doing, and he was like, hell yeah, go girl.
Uh-huh.
Good for you. Good for you. So yeah. So we did that.
Oh, yeah, no, we did that, and then, and it was funny, because it was like, as we're fucking each other, it's like, okay, you're on birth control, okay, everyone's on, you know, and then it was funny, because, like, I'm just like, all right, cool, like, I don't, like swapping back and forth can be fun, but it also, to me, I also know it can be overly
how long you know you
yeah.
have. Yeah, it can be overly stimulating, and we knew it was already kind of late.
It was kind of late, and so I'm like,
it wasn't one of those play sessions where we're in a bed and we're playing for like an hour and this, and you know what I mean. It wasn't one of those. It was kind of like, we're gonna hook up. We better do this because the club's gonna close in like 30
yes,
minutes.
and the thing was too is even like, I wanted a guy to be able to orgasm in you, and it's not because of the sole fact of, oh, I need you, some dude to like fucking nut in my wife. It was more of like, the last couple experiences, the guys didn't come, and so.
No, what did? Just not like.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I really wanted you to have like this. I wanted you to get railed.
I know.
And so then we end up all like finishing, and.
I was the one that did that, but I'm really hard to get off.
You're hard to get off.
And I think we would have, because he kept, afterwards, he knew that I had it.
Yeah.
And he was going to keep going. He was like, he asked me, like, what I, liked and whatever. And I was like, but I knew it was getting late. And I was like, it's like kind of like, was like, whatever. I was like, no, I was like, it's okay. Like, honestly, that was hot. Like, it felt good.
Yeah.
I just, like, am hard to get off. And I knew that I'm one of those that I'm like, my husband can get me off later. Like, it's fine. I don't need that. Like, that's not my end goal. Like, that doesn't mean I didn't have fun. That wasn't mean I wasn't turned on. It wasn't mean I wasn't, like, a success for me, whatever. That's not, yeah. So, it was fine. So, he didn't go, and he pulled out and went on my back, remember?
Yeah.
Which was also hot.
That was.
So anyways, so then we like all kind of like, okay, well that was hot. So we're all like getting dressed, and I'm like, I'm still naked actually. I'm still naked.
We were all still naked.
And this girl, the other hot couple that we had mentioned earlier, comes bouncing in. She's like, hey guys!
And she just plops down next to me.
She just plops down next to me. She's naked, and I was like, hey. And she goes, I don't know if you guys were all in here. She's like, I'm gonna play with you guys, and we were like, oh, and some single guy goes, round 2! It's like late. I mean, the club literally is like, the club closes at 2. Like, lights on and finish up what you're doing. Lights go on at like 1:45, and it's like 1:35 at this point. I'm like, oh, it's late. And you could tell the poor girl's husband was kind of on the outside of where we all playing, and he was sitting there. He was just like, "Oh God!" I'm pretty much apologizing for his like drunk, bubbly wife.
He was like, it was one of those where he's kind of like, "No, we're like, we need to go home now."
He's like, "No, babe, no," because they had just played. He's like, we were over there playing. I didn't know you guys were in here. I wanted to come play with you guys," and I was just like, "Oh." So I'm sitting there naked between these 2 girls, and I was just like, "Did I die?" Like. I am so insecure when it comes to my body, and like I'm gonna be 40, you know, I take care of myself, but I don't have like some killer body. I don't love my boobs, and so to me I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these girls? I'm like, okay, so I was like, I was like, bummer. And so we're all kind of chatting, and then but this girl was like drunk, and she was like talking to me, and I didn't want to make it awkward with the people I just played with, because then I was like, these people just had their first pretty much full swap experience.
Right.
I didn't want to be all of a sudden just be like, oh, on to the next girl.
Yeah, you kind of want to like.
I was like, oh, it put me in kind of a weird position. I was like, yeah, we should all play sometime. We should have all played. Yeah. And I was like trying to like emphasize that, like, because I didn't want it to be like, oh, I didn't know she was like just wanted to play with me, or she wanted to play with all of us. And I was just like, okay. I was like, I need to give these people my attention right now, because
they just full swapped it. It was their first time. And like, you want to give them the attention of like,
hey,
I
want this girl to make sure that like,
are you good? You just saw your husband with another dude, like another girl.
Like, aftercare is important.
It is just that like,
even like the communication and like whatever. So whatever, it ended up being fine. We chatted for a few, and I was like, well, we should all hang out sometime.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting up, getting dressed, and then another couple's next to us, kind of on another mattress, and they're going at it, and he's like, "You're the Unicorn Landing girl." He's like, "I recognize your tattoo and your smile." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I ended up chatting with them for a couple minutes while they're fucking. He literally is inside of her having a conversation. They're having a conversation with me, and I'm explaining to her what Unicorn Landing is while her husband's dick is inside of her.
That was funny.
I was like, and I'm standing over them, and they're like laying down, and I was like, okay, wow, okay. So anyways, we get cleaned up, and we finally walk out of this like play area and go out, and like the club is the event center is empty. I know. Empty. There's maybe like 5 people lingering, and I'm like, and we never shut the place down. Like Eric and I typically leave. We're
out by like midnight. And even on New Year's, I think we were out by like 12:30.
Yeah, right after midnight. We're like, okay, we're over it. We never stay that late, and the couple times we have is because we're either hosting or cleaning up, but like. No. So we were like, holy shit. Even the owners who we know were like, I've never seen you guys stay this late. And she's like, I've never seen you. She didn't come back and see us playing, but I think she knew we were because maybe somebody told her. But she was like, I've never seen you guys stay this late. And I was like, sorry, we shut this place down. And she was like smiling. She like knew. I was like, we met these cute people. And so we all walk out together, the four of us, which was nice. And that's why I was like, I want to make sure these people know. So like we walked out together, like we chatted for a second, like we gave hugs goodbye, like we all exchanged information. You know, like aftercare is important. Like you don't want anyone to feel, even if it was just a quick hook up at a club. Like I don't like that feeling. I
don't want to feel used.
No, to me it's really important to not feel used or make anybody feel that way. Even if you never hook up with people again, I still feel like you touch base with them. For me, it's important. I know some people don't care, but for me, I'm like, because I've had that happen where we hooked up with a couple and I never again talked to the guy, except for when I saw him drunk at a club and he like tried to touch me and I was like, fuck you. Like, that's a whole other story. But like for me, it's important to at least like check in on people. How did you guys make it home safe? How was your night? You know, you guys do okay? Like whatever.
Yeah.
Just, to me, it's important and like.
It's the nice thing to do.
Yeah. So we all exchanged obviously information, which I think we'd exchanged information before that.
No, it was after.
Oh.
No, we all had sex and came, and then hey, by the way, can I
remember later I go, and I said her name, which I'm not going to say on here, but I said her name, and I go, that's her name, right?
Yes. I was like, yes, babe, that's her name.
Oh, anyways, so we are in a group chat with them, and we do chat with them, several times. Like we've just been checking in for the last couple of weeks, like here and there, chatting. They, like they've invited us. We've talked about actually hanging out, but our schedules cannot line up. And we were out of town, and she was out of town, and they've invited us to come over, and so we will hang out with them again. Yes, we really like them as people. Are you getting up? You need to pee. Sorry, we're on a road trip. Eric's got to pee. How are you getting off? We've been listening to smut books on our road trip, and we've been listening to we've listened to probably 25 hours of straight smut.
Yes.
So Eric's like, we'll randomly get horny when we're driving. But anyways, so that was our first experience playing at a club, and it was so hot. Like we went home, and I don't think we reconnected because I was like, look, can we reconnect in the morning?
No,
we reconnected, like cuddled for a minute, but I was like, I'm tired.
No, because I've learned with us, if we have good experiences, we don't really reconnect that night. But if we have an experience where one of us didn't have the best of experiences, we have to reconnect.
And I looked at you and I said, I love you, and I said, I want to reconnect with you. I was like, that was really hot. I was like, I'm just really tired. And you looked at me too. You're like, no, it's totally fine.
No, because we've also had a few experiences where we were out late and we played, and then even got home and we were like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah. Well, or like I needed to.
Yeah.
Like one of us.
And same here. There's been times that I've needed to.
Like for emotional reasons.
Yeah. No, because it is. Like,
but we had so much fun that I was like, I feel really connected to you. It was really hot. Like I don't feel like I'm needing like you like. I always, but you know what I mean. I wasn't feeling. So, anyways, that was our first experience at a club.
And it was hot.
And it was super hot. And now we're like, okay, we need to be more assertive. So that's when we went to Nashville. I was like, I want to do that again in a club, which we played with our friends, but it wasn't like another.
It wasn't strange.
No. Hey, see, and then for a while I was like, no, I gotta get to know people, and I think the longer you're in the lifestyle, the more experiences you have.
I don't really need to get to know somebody.
I'm just
you gotta be cool. We'll be cool.
Yeah, like I want to vibe for like a little bit and like know we're all on the same page. But if the vibe's there, I'm like, fuck yeah, show me your test results. Wear protection. Let's fucking do this. So, anyways, that was our experience. Super hot.
Super fun.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. For more resources, visit theimpulsiveduo.com and stay tuned for our next episode.